I thought I understood what makes a family wealthy until I met Nalongo in rural Uganda. She has 7 children, lives in a mud brick house and owns no car. But her twin boys are treated like living gods by an entire village of 3,000 people. Every morning, strangers arrive with gifts. Every decision the community makes, they consult her 5-year-old sons first. What I discovered about twin reverence in Baganda culture didn't just challenge my assumptions about poverty and prosperity, it shattered everything I thought I knew about what it means to raise children, build community, and find meaning in life. This isn't just about Uganda. This is about a worldview so radically different from ours that it might change how you see your own family, your own struggles, and your own definition of success forever. Here's what blew my mind first. In Baganda culture, twins aren't just siblings born together. They're considered balubal, living deities who bring prosperity to everyone around them. The moment twins are born, the entire extended family's social and economic status transforms overnight. But here's the part that made me question everything. Western medical intervention during twin births is seen as spiritually dangerous, not because of the medical care itself, but because hospital protocols separate the babies immediately after birth. In Baganda belief, this separation breaks a sacred bond that's meant to last forever. Nalongo told me through tears that when her twins were born in a hospital, the nurses wouldn't let her keep them together. She spent 3 days terrified that she'd destroyed their spiritual connection before elders performed emergency reunification ceremonies. I watched these ceremonies. Twins are placed on the same mat, fed from the same bowl, and never allowed to sleep apart for the first year of life. The community believes this maintains their shared soul, which is the source of their power to bring abundance. Think about this for a moment. What if our obsession with individual development from birth is actually severing connections that could benefit entire communities? This next revelation broke something inside me. I spent hours with Salongo Mukasa, the father of twin girls now in their 20s. He explained that twins in Baganda culture never make major decisions alone. They consult each other on everything. Career choices, marriage partners, even daily meals. Western psychology would call this codependency. The Baganda call it spiritual wisdom. These twin women I met run a successful fabric business together. They've never spent more than 2 days apart in 23 years. They finish each other's sentences, dream similar dreams, and claim they feel physical pain when the other is hurt. But here's what stunned me. Their business thrives because they make decisions as one unit. No ego conflicts, no competition, no power struggles. They told me that Western business partnerships fail because people prioritize individual success over collective harmony. Salongo said something that haunts me. You teach children to be independent. We teach them to be interdependent. Your children grow up lonely and anxious. Ours grow up secure and powerful. I couldn't argue with the results. These twins radiate confidence and joy in ways I rarely see among successful people back home. They're not performing happiness. They're genuinely content. When was the last time you made a major decision considering not just your own desires, but the spiritual and emotional needs of your closest relationships? This is where the story gets a bit controversial, and I need to be careful here. I'm not advocating against medical care. Really, that's not my point. I'm just sharing what I learned about how different cultures view the spiritual significance of birth. In traditional Baganda culture, twin mothers give birth in sacred groves surrounded by female elders. The babies are immediately placed together on banana leaves and blessed by the community's spiritual leaders. The placenta is buried in a special ceremony that's believed to anchor the twins' spiritual power to their ancestral land. Nalongo's mother-in-law, Jaja Nakato, actually walked me through this ritual. She's delivered over 40 sets of twins in her lifetime. She believes hospital births disconnect children from their spiritual heritage because they're born in sterile, spiritually neutral environments. She told me, in the hospital, twins are just babies. In the grove, they're reincarnated ancestors choosing to return together with specific purposes for their community. I watched a traditional twin blessing ceremony that lasted 3 days. The entire village contributed food, money, and labor. By the end, this family had received enough resources to start a small business, renovate their home, and send their older children to better schools. The twins weren't just born into a family, they were born into a support system that guaranteed their success and their parents' security. So what if birth isn't just a medical event, but a spiritual and community investment that determines a child's entire life trajectory? This next part honestly sounds impossible until you see it yourself. I spent 3 days shadowing 5-year-old twins Waswa and Kato. These boys are consulted on village decisions ranging from crop planting schedules to conflict resolution. Every morning, adults arrive at their home with small gifts, fruits, coins, handmade toys. They ask the boys questions about weather, family disputes, and business decisions. The twins give answers that community members take seriously and often act upon. I watched Waswa point to a specific field and say it would flood during the next rains. 3 weeks later, that exact field flooded while neighboring plots remained dry. Coincidence? The villagers don't think so. Kato settled a property dispute between two families by suggesting they share the land for different crops in different seasons. Both families accepted his solution immediately, ending a feud that had lasted 2 years. These children have never been disciplined, never been told they're wrong, never been made to feel small or powerless. They move through the world with absolute confidence that their opinions matter and their presence brings good fortune. Compare this to how we raise children in individualistic cultures. We spend years teaching them they're not special, that they need to earn respect, that their ideas don't matter until they're adults. What kind of adults do you think emerge from these radically different childhoods? Here's where Baganda twin culture challenges everything Western psychology teaches about individual identity and personal boundaries. I met Baberi, a woman whose twin sister died in childbirth 20 years ago. According to Baganda belief, Baberi is now considered half-dead herself. She underwent special ceremonies to help her survive the loss of her shared soul, but she still experiences what she describes as living in shadow. This isn't just grief, it's a fundamental belief that twins share one soul divided between two bodies. When one dies, the other must be spiritually reconnected to the community to prevent following their twin into death. Baberi showed me rituals she performs daily to maintain her connection to her deceased twin. She sets out food for two people, makes decisions by imagining conversations with her sister, and believes her twin guides her from the spirit world. Western psychology would pathologize this behavior. The Baganda community celebrates it as evidence that love transcends death and that spiritual bonds are stronger than physical separation. But here's what really made me think. Baberi is one of the most successful businesswomen in her district. She runs a profitable restaurant and employs 12 people. Her unhealthy attachment to her deceased twin hasn't held her back. It's given her purpose and spiritual strength. What if our Western emphasis on letting go and moving on actually cuts us off from sources of guidance and comfort that could help us thrive? This revelation changed how I think about women's security and social status. In Baganda culture, women who give birth to twins achieve a special status called Nalongo. This title comes with privileges that last for life and can never be revoked. Nalongo cannot be divorced, abandoned, or mistreated by her husband or his family. She receives respect equivalent to traditional royalty. Her opinions carry extra weight in community decisions. She's invited to bless other women's pregnancies and is considered spiritually powerful in her own right. I met Nalongo Namubiru, who gave birth to twins 30 years ago. Her husband died 5 years later, but she was never pressured to remarry or leave her late husband's family land. The community continues to support her because her twin sons are considered living blessings. She told me that before her twins were born, she was just another young wife with little influence. After their birth, she became a person whose words carried spiritual weight. She now serves as a mediator in family disputes and a consultant for women facing difficult pregnancies. In your culture, she said, women fight for equality. In ours, giving birth to twins makes you automatically equal to men in spiritual authority. This isn't just about cultural differences, it's about how societies choose to value women's contributions and protect their security. How might women's lives be different if motherhood automatically elevated their social status and guaranteed their protection? Eds. This final discovery is the one that kept me awake at night. Baganda culture believes twins are reincarnated ancestors who chose to return together with specific missions for their community. I spent an evening with Mzee Kasiri, an elder who tracks family lineages and spiritual connections. He showed me detailed records of twins born in his village over the past century. According to his documentation, twins consistently appear in families during times of crisis or transition. His theory is that ancestral spirits choose to return as twins when communities need extra spiritual guidance and protection. The shared soul gives them double the spiritual power to help their people navigate challenges. He told me stories of twins born just before wars who helped their communities find safe hiding places. Twins born during famines who led families to new water sources. Twins born during social changes who bridged conflicts between traditional and modern ways of life. Twins don't come by accident, he explained. They come when they're needed most. I thought about this while watching the twins I'd met throughout my time in Uganda. There was something different about them, a confidence, an awareness, a way of moving through the world that suggested they understood their purpose from an early age. What if what we call coincidence is actually a deeper, spiritual intelligence working through families and communities in ways we've forgotten how to recognize? Sitting with Nalongo on my last evening in her village, watching her twins play in the fading light, I realized something profound. We spend so much time focused on individual achievement and personal success that we've forgotten the power of deep spiritual connection. These children aren't just being raised by their parents, they're being raised by an entire community that sees them as sacred gifts with important purposes. They'll grow up knowing they belong, knowing they matter, knowing they're part of something bigger than themselves. That's not poverty, that's wealth of a kind we barely understand. If this changed how you see family, community, and what it means to raise children, hit subscribe and share this with someone who needs to hear it. These stories matter because they remind us that there are as many ways to live well as there are cultures in the world. Next week, we're traveling to a Mongolian village where families still live as nomads, but now they're using solar panels and smartphones. It's a story about how tradition and technology can work together in ways that might surprise you. Remember, wherever life takes you, home isn't just a place, it's a perspective. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. Your curiosity makes these stories possible, so keep exploring, keep dreaming, and we'll see you in the next adventure right here on Beyond Borders.